All right, another video. We're talking about why overlooking red flags can be costly and detrimental for obvious reasons. But more so, we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about at least, the root, just the root gist of it all, right? And I think it was Maya Angelou. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who said when a person shows you who they are the first time, believe them. That holds so much weight because, yes, it's true. Absolutely. And red flags, when do they usually occur and how? Most of the time, you're going to see the red flag. If you're paying attention, if you don't have your head all caught up in the sky and just, in la la land because you like that person a lot, you're going to see them. And they're going to be evident, very evident and obvious. Now, granted, we're never going to meet somebody who's going to be 100% perfect, ideal, who we think, right? That we want. We're not going to get that. So there's a scale you use, right? You're going to see the red flag. I said typically within the first week or so, right? A lot of people don't have the ability, especially narcissists, to hold that mask of who they really are without it slipping and giving you glimpses within that first week through conversation or something. You're going to find typically something off about how they think and process things. It's just going to be, it's not going to make sense, right? It's just going to be one of those things that's going to be like, well, damn, if you knew better and you know better, but you still choose to do the opposite of what would be in your best interest as a person, right? And the person deliberately, they go against it. They're totally counterintuitive to what they should be responding to in a situation. That's not to be overlooked. That is a red flag. Usually you're going to see it in the form of how the person thinks and process things, judgment-wise, right? You're going to start seeing the first glimpses of the red flags in the judgment area, so to speak, of that person. Why is that important? It's not something to overlook so easy because, for one, this is something that's probably embedded deeply into their character and their personality of who they are. So if it pops up and you see it, it's not something that you can write off and say, oh, well, that was something minor. No, there's a lot deeper. There's things beneath the surface, right? Deeply embedded into, again, that person's personality or character that isn't easily uprooted and gotten rid of. You're just not going to do that with it. But most people in that state, they're going to push it to the side and be like, oh, we had a little disagreement. Oh, well, we'll make up for it. And the person, that's where you have that first indication, which many people miss out on, totally overlook. That first disagreement. And a disagreement is something where you're saying in the back of your mind, like, damn, this is simple. You should have got that. Or it's not that hard. Why are we going so deep off into something different, which doesn't seem to be relevant or has any weight or holds any weight or substance on the subject nature at hand? It's just off, right? It's just off. They'll try to get you to think, well, whatever it is, it's just their opinion, or it's their, everybody's different type of thing. This is where it can become confusing because, yeah, that may be true, but there's certain things that are kind of like universal, right? Where you don't have to have someone explain to you why they're laughing, right? If someone's laughing, cracking up, you don't have to know the language. You don't have to speak the language of laughter. That emotion is going to show what is just going to present itself as something's funny or hilarious to that person. Likewise, if somebody's crying, you don't have to guess and wonder, and hear the language come out. Even if you spoke a different language, let me clear it up at least. If you see someone of a different language crying or laughing, you don't need to speak their native tongue or language to understand what those things would mean. It's a universal indicator that something's either funny or something greatly saddened that person or is bothering that person to the point where they're crying. Right? Same thing in certain types of behaviors with people and certain types of red flags. Yeah. And before I go on, I'm going to leave in the comment section too, and also in the description box. I know it's been requested, people are saying, no, it's hard getting to the information to book an appointment. I have a new link. You can just click it and all the information is there. The times, availability, all of that. So that alleviates all the emails asking how to go about doing that. Anyway, one thing that I see commonly, and what I had experience at the time that I was going through, you're reading too deep or over analyzing a situation, and it's in the wrong direction when you do see it. But most of the times people write it off as just, it's a one-time occurrence. But no, it comes back up. That means something. That dark humor type of joking where it's not a funny type of situation based on, let's say if it's a really serious situation, where that empathy would have to kick in for someone to relate and not be joking in a certain manner that whatever you may be going through, and they're making dark humor out of it. There's something to look at. Again, the arguments not making any sense, pettiness within them. These are red flags. And a lot of them, again, they display themselves within the first week. You'll see it. You will see it. It'll feel off. It won't make any sense to you. Won't be any rhyme or reason to it, but yet that person will be defending that position or chose to actually act out in a certain way and display behavior that is unbecoming of a future healthy type of relationship. Once you see it, the first step is to tell yourself, okay, let me slow down. That's step number one. Slow down. Step back. Pull your emotions out and reassess what's going on here and what this person is really about. Because this shit shouldn't be going on. Step two, you need to get control of your emotions and your feelings. It's time to come into full center of focus. Be more observant. Right? That's a sign for you to pull back when you start seeing the red flag in the first week. There's usually maybe 2 at the most. But within the first 1 to 2 weeks, probably that second part of the middle of the second week, to be a little bit closer and estimating, when it does come out. But when it happens, this is why I say there's not too many things that happen, and of course there's things that just blindside us that we can't help. But in the situation where you're supposed to be courting, getting to know, vetting that person, there's not too many things that should get past you if you are taking the proper measures to make sure that you are vetting that person properly and reading the red flags and not overlooking them. All right. So once you do find it, even if you're out or whatnot and you see a certain type of behavior that is just like, wait a minute, why would you allow me to see you in this way so soon without a care of what I'm going to think and perceive of you and how that looks to me? Right. And I'm speaking as for you all, that if you're in that situation, that's how you have to be, holding an inner dialogue to yourself when you're seeing this. Like, wait a minute. Why would any normal person, because a normal person would not want you to see an unbecoming side of them so soon without a care of how their image would look. But people who are especially narcissistic or toxic, they don't care. They don't care what you, this is how they are. And it's so deeply ingrained in them that they can't help it. They're going to slip and they're going to show it. They're not going to be able to go a full 2 weeks without that dominant trait and nature of them pushing beyond the facade that they're putting up in front of you. They're not going to be able to hold it that long. So this is another thing you have to think about. If you're paying attention, you're going to see it. It's going to be off and you're going to question it. Again, if you're questioning things and having a question like, dang, or you don't feel right, like, dang, that didn't set right inside of me. The spirit of me, that just unraveled me energetically, and I don't feel right. That just doesn't feel right. What happens is most of you will go into expressing what you didn't like to the person when you saw it, and they will come back with a rebuttal, an excuse as to why. This is why I say don't even mention it to them when you see it. Just take note, because they're always going to come with a rebuttal and a justification as to why they did do what they did, why they act a damn fool. And whether it's Roof Crest, Fleming's, whatever. At the car lot, dealership, family function, whatever it may be, just giving examples. But they're going to try to justify it and make it look like you're overreacting to the situation. That's all you're going to get if you confront them. And that's a major mistake where most people that haven't been coached up and given the game they would fall right into that and get a BS explanation and then hold on to that and be like, okay, well, it's still in the beginning. Let's see how things work. And the problem is you start getting adjusted and used to the person. You start liking them more because you're spending more time. You start bonding, especially if you're having sex with them. And now your boundaries begin to drop lower and lower, and your standards and your tolerance rises. You start building more and more a tolerance for it. It's like if you ever been in the shower and, hot water's running out. You done did laundry, you done did whites, and you use hot water for that. You done got the dishwasher going and all that, and that hot water running out. And you decide to go take a shower afterwards and come on hot at first, but it slowly starts to fade from hot to warm to lukewarm, and then it's starting to be on the cold side. You could tolerate that. Why? Because it was gradual. It's the same thing as if you're in one of these situations. You overlook the first red flag at first. It may not be anything, but the longer you're in it and they keep coming, you're going to build a tolerance to that person's behavior. They don't blow all out of proportion at one time. It's gradually. And the part that happens, the psychological part, like I said, you start to build a mental tolerance for it. And now, where you would have cut them off in the heartbeat in the beginning, because you've gotten used to them, you've bonded and all this, now you're like, oh, well, this is just how they are. You've built your tolerance up so strong to deal with a toxic individual that you don't know how to let them go anymore. You're stuck. And you're going back and forth through these cycles of them doing bad things, acting out, and then, apologizing, making excuses for it. Well, guess what? That's how it started out in the beginning. You just forgot. It started that way with the first red flag that you overlook and did not act upon. Very rarely will that person just make an about face again, it's something that you catch that isn't supposed to be. You have to know, though. You have to understand and know what those things are. Let me see what time it is. I'm running and rambling. I'm gonna cut the video here. May do a part 2 on this one. So I think I just wanted to touch the surface, but they have to do a part 2 going more in depth about this, because this is pretty serious, about building these tolerances up to toxic behavior. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Again, one-on-one consultations, the links in the description and in the comment section. Have a good day.